Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we used the Imperial Knight Crimson Wanderer and fought our way through a lot of chaos and renegade Imperial Guardsmen to get to the fortress of Flavius Draken, and now we have to go in to that fortress and rescue him.
The fortress is under siege. The gates have been destroyed, and I see signs of heavy fighting. What about Flavius Draken? Then I will find him without delay.
Flavius Flav.
Loading.
Imperial rap sensation. Ooh. Some form of boss. Yeah. Not really sure what to cover. Again, that's how a lot of these episodes have been lately, just kind of random stuff that comes to mind. Actually, a random thing that came to mind just now. I was on Twitter, and there was this guy. He made... God. It was a picture set of his vehicles for Iron Warriors? Yeah, because Chaos, that's Iron Warriors with the hazard stripe paint. This guy had to have spent a couple $1,000s. It was Imperial Knights, it was tanks of every size, Lehman Russes, it was Demolisher tanks, there was... Oh my god, there was everything. If it could have a dozer blade on it, there was a version with a dozer blade. If there was... literally everything. It was just absolutely nuts. And I mean, I've said it before, like, 40K as a hobby is expensive. And seeing just how much some people have spent, I would assume the guy had to have bought some of the stuff, like, secondhand, and could get it cheap. And he just, like, stripped the paint off and redid it, because that's what I would do if I could get cheap parts or cheap sets that people don't want anymore, but otherwise, that's a lot of money to spend. It was really cool, but there's a lot of money some people have spent on this game. It's always impressive to me because, like, I've seen people pay for full army, like, custom paint jobs, like Den of Imagination and groups like that, and I know Den of Imagination is not cheap to have do your stuff. I use Den as an example because I really like their work, but, like, it's expensive. It is high quality, though. I'm the kind of person who, if I was gonna paint stuff, I would just, like, dunk it in paint and be like, okay, it's good. But, I mean, there's some people who have airbrushes and have, like, a full setup to do it. And it's always impressive. I mean, I'm not surprised, you know, the people who put in the money are usually the people who are putting in a lot of effort, so of course it's gonna look good. You get out of it what you put in. I mean, I've seen some of the sets I love seeing some of the like vampire count stuff for Warhammer Fantasy, because people, dioramas and like vampire counts and some Tomb King stuff, people go nuts. I think it's the fact that you have the spirit, like ghost kind of pieces, and you can just do so much with them. Oh, another one I saw was a Warhammer Fantasy Army. This was funny. This guy painted and like custom modeled his goblins so that all the goblins look like Santa's elves, and then there was a goblin, I guess big boss would be the term. I think it's a goblin big boss. Might have been a goblin shaman. Might have been Night Goblin for the staff, but he was redone to look like a goblin version of Santa. And it was just so cool to see. I love when people do kind of goofy armies like that, because it takes a lot of time to set up all that and put all the extra like green plastic, I guess depending on what you do, because I always knew it as quick plastic, but some people use other stuff. But there's so much, and it's so cool to see. My favorite still has to be, there was a guy who, I think it might have been Den of Imagination again. I've looked at so much other stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was a like Death Guard army, but they redid it to be all aquatic. So they're like essentially pirates, but they have like barnacles growing on them, and they'll have like an octopus hanging off their armor and all this stuff, and it looked so cool. And I loved it, because I was like, this is so interesting and so neat. And you can just tell when people put that effort in. And I'll admit, I'm a sucker for pirates. I think they're really cool. And so seeing like that motif done, I thought was great, because usually you only ever see that with like the orcs. I think it was the freebooters, and all they did was slap a little like pirate hat, like pirate tricorn hat on a orc and be like, "It's a pirate now, guys. Can't you tell?" It's like, yeah. It makes sense that the orcs would kind of look half-assed. But I want the full-bore Davy Jones experience, you know? I want him to have the barnacles and all the little gross bits dangling off. Or there was, I remember this one I saw, I think it was, I can't remember the site, if it's Daka, but it was a Death Guard, like Rhino transport, but it was covered, or it had like the actual transport part in the back was just full of bodies. And it's supposed to be kind of like a corpse cart almost. And I thought that was really cool, because it makes sense. Granted, you could do a lot of cool things with Death Guard related things. You know, you could have it where like the back top, like you have a back top hatch, and it just has a bunch of like tentacles growing out of it, almost like there's some gross creature essentially using a rhino as a shell. Or you could use it as like a corpse cart and have it just lugging a bunch of plague zombies in. There's a couple different things you could do. I wish they would actually have rules set up for stuff like that. 'Cause I would totally use that. You know, you get extra Gellerpox infected, or you get, like, you can give up a turn to reinforce and restore a model to a unit of, like, plague zombies nearby. I'd totally use that. That'd be so cool. You know, you give up a couple bigger vehicles or blight drones, you have a couple of these plague carts or plague rhinos kind of scattered about, and then you just have an absolute horde of zombies to tar pit. It offers some potential for army variations, which, like I said before, that was always my problem with Death Guard, is when you watch a lot of the battle reports, everybody runs like the same build or very similar builds, and I get it. Any game that allows you to pre-build your armies, people are going to do the same thing. You know, that's the curse of it. Part because they likely don't have extra models, but also because there's usually a primary build.
We might lose the box signal. Sometimes an Inquisitor needs a base of operations for armories, supply depots, and vaults. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having a fortress one day. And you can leave heresy.
So, like, I'd like to see more. I've said it before again, rules for more Lost in the Damned. I want more stuff for Trader Marines and, well, not Trader Marines because that's just chaos, but Trader Guards. Trader Guardsmen. Because it'd be cool to have, like, an army of just Trader Guardsmen and cultists. You know, some Age of Apostasy level stuff. I think it'd be great. Because you could do so much with that. Depending on the chaos god they follow, you could have different rules, and you could do interesting things with such a setup. And I can't imagine there'd be too many people who are like, no, I don't want to have more flavor and more army variety within relatively simple parameters. I'm dumb. I keep sitting here thinking, man, I should probably turn up the difficulty. But every time I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember dying a lot early on in this. Let's try the Exodus rifle. Just chain stun until these guys are dead. I'm a little disappointed though, because one thing I wish had stayed around. This is a deep cut, but before the Necrons first appeared, they were chaos robots. And honestly, even though the models look janky as all can get out nowadays, I really like them. And I think they'd be cool. And I just would really like to see chaos robots. Because when you really think about it, you got Heretics, you got the Dark Mechanicus, you really think they're gonna follow the same rules that the Empire followed about no robots? I would imagine there'd be guys out there just like, yeah, let's just make these crazy-ass, fully sentient robots, slap a demon in them, and go ham. Honestly, I would do it. But I think it'd be cool, because, once again, Dark Mechanicus need an army. AdMech got theirs. We need an evil version. I mean, come on, we gave Genestealer cults their own army. And admittedly, some of the stuff could have been Imperial Guard as well. Like, yeah, it's a lot of mining equipment, but you could lore tweak that and be like, well, some Imperial worlds don't have the funding or the money to trade for, you know, full armories, or they don't have the equipment, so they make do with some of the mining gear they have. It works. Kinda dumb, but honestly, I really liked some of the stuff. Especially because it's like, hey, you know, these random degenerate cultist guys have motorcycles, and then you have like the Death Corps of Krieg and some of the other Imperial units. I think Armageddon Steel Legion, they have horses, and it's like, really? You got horses? You know, a motorcycle's probably a better option? Like, horses can get scared. You can't scare a, like, motorcycle. Like, I can't scream at a motorcycle and get it scared or spook it. It's a machine.
Inquisitor, that's what I call perfect timing. Did the Conclave send you?
No, I came on my own volition. After all, you tried to have me killed.
Ah, you must be the one who sent my interrogator fleeing. The time of reckoning has come, has it not?
It seems so.
Do you want to execute me? Will you make it look like I perished during the battle? That's what I would do.
I don't doubt it. At the moment, I only want to talk to you, Draken, about Uther Tiberius.
You really chose the most untimely moment to interrogate me.
I'll make sure that you survive, and I'll get my answers after that.
Sounds reasonable. I'll take care of this side. You deal with the rest. Get ready.
And I still want more Beastmen stuff. I want my Gores to have a proper army list. I feel like I'm in the minority for that, though. Of all the people who play 40K, like, I can't imagine there's a ton of people who are like, why aren't there more Beastmen units? It's like, I'm sorry, I just really liked Beastmen and Warhammer Fantasy. I thought they were neat. Hell, if we could have Skaven, I'd be the grimiest little Skaven gremlin you can imagine. Because that's all I would play as. I really wish there was 40K equivalent of Skaven. I mean, they already make some messed up stuff in Fantasy and Age of Sigmar. Can you imagine space age tech, the kind of crap they could pull? Warp fire fueled scrap tanks with giant warp fire throwers, or some flying machine with warp fire throwers on them. I think it'd be cool. How it fits into lore, I mean, hell. Age of Sigmar effectively made it so they can, I've said it before, they can burrow through reality in essence, so honestly, who cares? Let them burrow into the 41st millennium. I mean, if you really want to lore it up, just say they're degenerate humans from a lost human colony. And you can use that lore to justify anything. You could, I was about to say, you could introduce mind flayers like in D&D, but that would effectively just be chaos, corruption, the end. Like, there isn't even much past that, just up chaos touched them. Because they're essentially just mutant psychers if you were to put them into 40K logic. I guess the question becomes, if Skaven were a 40K race, where would they fall in? Because, like, hey, these guys do weird, twisted abominations using other living beings. Well, Dark Eldar do that. That's just a normal Tuesday for them. I mean, Dark Eldar are so messed up, they'd probably recreate the dad from Society where his heads were his asses. And they'd just be like, yep, that was my Tuesday warm-up experiment. I named him Ricky. We're gonna throw him in the garbage disposal now, because I'm bored. So it's like, well, messed up shapers of flesh, that's already kind of taken, plus that's Fabius Bile's whole shtick is Dr. Frankenstein if he had even less moral scruples. Maybe traitors, but isn't that what the Hrud are? Or no, that's... They predate... There's an early knockoff version of Skaven in early lore where they were like traitors, but they were just like...
Loading.
They were unreliable because they might trade you like a priceless gem for a gun. And it's like, oh, well, you don't understand their logic. But then they just take the gun and point it back at you and steal the gem back. Because they just don't care. So, like, reintroducing them as that, but that doesn't really feel Skaven-y. I mean, you can always just have overlap. I mean, more flesh-shaping, monstrous, unethical creatures. It's not like 40K doesn't have any of them, and not like they're really running out of them. You can always just toss a few more in. I mean, they're kind of like scientifically competent orcs. They breed in numbers out of control. Their tech is foreign, but at least it makes sense as opposed to orcs who just believe. Through the power of imagination, this pile of metal can shoot Deka at someone. Now I need to see that. An orc doing the SpongeBob imagination bit. We walked through the fire and flames. Wow, we walked through the Dragon Force song? I bet Herman Lee would be proud of him for that.
Inquisitor, you'd make a valuable ally, or a fearsome adversary. What do you want to know about Uther Tiberius?
You removed his vestiges from his tomb, and you set up a kill team to protect the secret. I want to know where Uther's remains are.
You are looking for Uther's sacred vestiges, but you seem to have no idea what you're dealing with. I won't tell you anything, Inquisitor.
Draken, I've been following the trail of Uther Tiberius for a very long time. Believe me, what I found on the Martyr could have grave consequences for the Imperium. So, talk to me.
What? You visited Uther's sacred monastery? Forgive me, I didn't realize. You must be the one our mutual friend mentioned. My sincerest apologies. I thought he was mistaken.
Where are the remains?
The tomb wasn't secure anymore. The guardian of the corpus became weak and old, just like our order. I had to make a hard decision. We had to transfer the sacred vestiges to a safer place. It's on a moon that isn't even charted. You can find the coordinates in the cogitator.
Really? I gotta do the dick morality choice again? Well, yeah. And the stupid part is kill an agent of the Inquisition, and he indicate the existence of a secret conspiracy. Well, aren't we part of this secret conspiracy? Like, we worked with Klosterheim, he's referring to our mutual friend, most likely Klosterheim. Whether we like it or not, we're kinda doing the same thing. But we gotta do this stupid puritanical choice.
I find your methods reproachable, and your loyalty questionable. I appreciate the help you gave me, but I cannot allow these practices. You must perish, Draken.
I don't know why we just teleported a corpse, but whatever.
Captain, I have all the answers I was looking for. I'm on my way back.
Alright, so that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit the like button, helps out the channel a lot. If you're new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.